My man, Charlie.
What's up,
What's
big
good?
dog?
I'm well, man. How are you doing? Hold
I'm
on.
good. Am I coming through?
Yes, you are.
You
You
didn't
are
think
coming through.
you didn't think I was coming, did you?
I just, I was like, oh man, we got to make sure Charlie. I didn't. I had about like 20% faith in you.
Right when I popped up, I heard you going, he should be here real soon.
I was like, he should be here. I know he is. How you
What's
doing,
up,
brother?
man?
I'm well, bro. How you doing?
I'm good. You in Fort Worth?
I am in Fort Worth. Where you at?
I'm down here in South Austin.
Okay. How's the whole quarantine going for you?
Oh man, it's been a wild experience. You know what I mean? It's a whole new frontier. It's like every day is an adventure, baby.
It is. I feel like you ever seen that movie Groundhog Day?
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot.
I feel like I'm really living the same day over and over. And I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm a like character in a movie, and I got to make sure that I'm living my best life. And that's
Man,
that's how I'm seeing it.
I know that's
But
what you say. My girl, Taylor's always saying that every day. It's like, it really is Groundhog Day. It's like, because, touring and stuff, it's like the only way we'd ever slow down is a pandemic. It's like
true.
my mama was saying that, she was just like, do you really think the people that you work with would give you a break any other way? And it's like, no, I guess not. And it's like, it kind of is the same day over and over, but I'm not going to call it a blessing, but it's definitely not a blessing.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm forced to do stuff a different way. I got a new record I'm putting out, and typically,
Y'all hear that? He got a new record. Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Y'all stay tuned.
Oh, you got some folks coming in from Ottawa, Canada. Okay,
That's
big dogs.
crazy. How's it going, Canada? Canada's in the house, man. That's crazy. I love Canada. One of my favorite places
Yeah, I
ever.
saw some real pretty photos of you up there in British Columbia with what was that dude's name you went on tour with?
Benjamin Francis Leftwich.
Yeah.
He's got a long, like I run out of breath just trying to say his name. Yeah, but you were saying, so you've got like it's not a blessing, but you've got a new record coming out, and I cut you short. What were you saying?
Oh, what I was saying is like, I mean, usually we'd put out a record and be touring, 5 nights a week or whatever, doing the national tour thing or whatever, which of course I wish we were doing. But because we're not on the road, it's allowing me to focus on the release and like the artistic vision of like getting the videos together, just like getting my team focused, because I do all independent releases like with 30 Tigers, but it's an independent thing. And so a lot of the people that we work with when we're rolling out records, it's like, it's a lot of freelance people, that you're kind of piecing together. So that's a great thing because I own my records. But the downside to that is that, it's hard to have more of a focused team. Like if you're working with Polydor, Interscope, or Columbia or somebody like that, you usually there's a real focused team rolling out the record. So
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is the blessing is because I'm not on the road, like you've been on the road with us, you know how it is. It's just like you're in the bus, you're trying to get your sleep, you're rolling to the next town, you're just trying to get the sound check done, get the show, do the meet and greet, get on the bus before it leaves, get to sleep. And that's just holding that together is enough.
That's life. Yeah, that is the life, man. And what I've admired about you, and we'll get to that, is the fact that you are this like one machine in a way that's just rolling everything, and it's been very inspiring to see from my side of things and seeing how you do things. Like I've been blessed enough to have people in my life like yourself and like LB, who really kind of live such a beautiful life, but are also very passionate about the music. And both of you are unique in your own way and completely different, but like are doing things to the maximum amount of levels. So it's been really interesting to kind of see both of your journeys and the blueprint in a way, and taking that and applying that to my life. And so, man, I want to commend you, and like everything you've done so far has been incredible. And I know that release is going to be insane as well. Do we know a date yet? Someone asked that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've announced it, but it's It's July the 31st. So,
Oh my God. Y'all heard it here first.
come
Y'all
on, big
heard it
dog.
here first. Charley Crockett, July 31st. That's my birthday month. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, man, that's crazy. So, man, I just want to thank you for joining me on this. I truly appreciate it, man. I sincerely and genuinely love you and your music, man. You've given me such a, I wasn't a big country fan. And then going on the road with you and you in a way given me the history of country and how it's really tied along with soul and
Yeah.
tied along with some of my favorite artists in the history, gave me a different perspective. And so thank you so much for that. And going on the road with you was incredible and probably the best time I had playing music just on the road in those different places, and all your fans were incredible. And so it's been such an amazing view seeing your journey and your music path unfold, and it's only the beginning, my brother, and it's only going to get better.
Well, that's definitely the case for you, big dog.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, my G. Well, let's get started, man. Let's see. First thing, everyone, like, I know you as Charley Crockett, the country man, Charley Crockett, the blues man, Charley Crockett, the banjo picking man,
That's
Fly
right.
Dog. But like, who was Charley Crockett before the music? Like, did you have a 9 to 5 ever? like, who was Charley Crockett before the music?
Nah, man, I never did. I mean, I never did have no 9 to 5. I waited tables. Like there was a couple of small windows where I waited tables and stuff, but like a little bit in high school, slightly, and then I worked at a Chili's for a few months. But
Yeah.
besides that, my path has just kind of always been one of, just the kind of itinerant. Got in a lot of trouble real quick, young, and I don't know how I'd really say that. It's just like, I started playing on the street.
Yeah.
Like basically right out of high school, and I just kind of forced to grow up fast and kind of skip that development period that people kind of get, I guess, trying to figure out their way in college or something like that. My brother, who didn't complete, his high school education and stuff, was a go-getter, and kind of like a self-made salesman. And I got into a lot of trouble with him, and a lot of that I regretted and was difficult, but at the same time it kind of gave me a different viewpoint, and I think made it, once I kind of got in trouble with him and that kind of underworld of, like, just the American hustle, if you will.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get into the hustle, and that was a scary thing, but it prepared me for street life in terms of being itinerant and playing on street corners and subway cars, hoboing around and all kind of stuff. And so that's really who I am, and like, as far as country music is concerned, it's like, I never thought of myself as a country artist when I was on the street. I didn't even have any kind of, I never put no kind of label on it. It's like, it's when we got into the bars in like Dallas, Fort Worth and Austin and stuff, and they started like talking about us and me in the press. You start getting out in front of the people in America, and then that's when the labels come.
Yeah.
In terms of the classifications, and then people start kind of, they start classifying you like they think you sound like, what you look like, and the press decides who you are and that kind of stuff. And it's like, I kind of found myself in country music. You know what I mean? And like, it's that same thing. It's like, there's a lot of stigmas that come with country music, just like there's a lot of stigmas that come with hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's good hip hop and there's terrible hip hop. There's good country music and there's really, really bad country music.
Bad. Yeah.
But I guess I became proud of country music from the standpoint of like bringing the street with me, bringing blues with me, bringing my own eclectic background with me. And like, I like to think about country as American music. And like we've talked about a lot, it's like, to me, you know, Bill Withers is country music just as much as George Strait is, and
Absolutely.
it's just about how you come at it, you know.
Yeah. So does that bother you, or has that bothered you? LB's in the house, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. So does it bother you saying how someone's like, oh, he's a country artist? Like, has anyone put a label on you that you felt has been a box for you?
Oh, the entire way.
Okay.
There's always a portion of people that are going to put a box on, you know, always put you in a box. I mean, I remember when I was on the street, Abraham, I would have friends that were like doing better than me, selling tickets, signing labels and stuff. And they, you know, you know, I always was proud of being like a chameleon, you know, stylistically and whatever. But I remember they were like, you know, Charlie, man, you got to get your sound down and know who you're willing to sell because they're going to want to pigeonhole you. And I hated being told that, you know. I think I spent 10 years trying to rebel against that. You know what I mean? And so it just is what it is, man, because it's like when I was putting out soul records, you know, I felt like there was no labels wanting to pick me up as a soul artist, you know, like it was country music agencies and labels that wanted to pick me up. And, you know, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, that's what it's a weird thing, man. It's like country music to me is like, I don't know, man. I just kind of see it like, it's a blank canvas for me. Like for my approach at it, it's a blank canvas and I get to paint what I want on it.
Absolutely.
You know, but I'm coming from, it's the same thing. It's like the way when I watch you play, man. It's like Stay, man, that's such a hit song to me. It's like so global.
Yeah.
But when I watch you play, I see the roots of blues and gospel and what I'd call a country sounder, like with LB, man. I mean, he's a country dude in a lot of ways in terms of like bringing rural roots music from Texas into the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to call you whatever, and it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird thing because it's like, you are a blues artist, but like it would box you in to just call you, you know, a young BB King. Like there's a ceiling on that. You know?
Absolutely. Because that is not me at all. Like you're exactly right. And it's been a fight, you know, and I hate how it's just detestable how the industry tries to come and because it's all sell. It's a market way. How can we cash the most money out of this individual? Okay, let's put him in this box that we know that we can, you know, okay, he's a blues man. Well, let's send him through all these blues outlets and let's cash him out instead of actually letting someone kind of spread their wings in a way. And like you were saying, country is soul. It's the music, it's the writing. Ultimately, it's what are you saying? What is the story behind your music? And I feel like that is what translates. You know, Bob Dylan is he might not be the best singer, but that is soul. You know, like it's soul, it's country, it's folk. It is what are you saying a story? Like what are you saying that's affecting people? And if someone tried to label or try to pigeonhole, you know, Bob Dylan, like I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. Leon wouldn't be here. And there's so many artists out there that are having that problem. And so I would ask you, like, in what ways have you tried to kind of break out of that box? Or like, what would you encourage someone else to do to break out of that box that people are trying to throw them in?
Well, I mean, you know, it's like, I hear you. It's like, it is all sales and marketing and stuff, but it's like categorization is something that like we just do in society. You know what I mean? It's like when you're like, when you get into high school and you get past the first couple of years, you start going to the guidance counselor and they want to start steering you towards like a direction in college.
Yeah.
And then like when folks get into college, then they want to push you into like, they want to further get you into category, what do you call it? Like your majors and that type of stuff. And it's like, I mean, it's easy for me to see it as a negative thing. And also when I was younger, I kind of always saw it from a negative point of view, but also just recognize that it's human nature to want to like organize stuff, you know, like there's that kind of stuff going. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like if, you know, like, I mean, skin tone and like how you sound and all that kind of stuff is quickly how the business people kind of want to put you in a place. You know what I mean? It's like
they want to understand you.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah,
I mean, look, take an example of like Bob Dylan. It's like you were mentioning Bob Dylan. When it comes to him, it's like he was a Jewish man, you know, and he went to great lengths to hide that early on, and that's because there's a lot of prejudice towards Jewishness and folk music, particularly country music. You know, it's like it just is what it is. I mean, it's the same thing as being like African American within country, or like you know, white dudes trying to sing hip hop or blues or whatever it is, you know. There's a lot that goes along. There's a lot that goes along with that, and it's like, I mean, you know, that's kind of what I'm saying is like, one day they just started calling me country.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I look at it now. I'm like, well, they call me country, and when they started calling me country, Abraham, I just started looking deeper into country music, which is like, I was already doing country music as far as like roots. Like if you listen to like George Jones or Hank Williams or those type of country artists, those guys are coming from like combination of street playing, gospel, you know, pop tunes, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, that's eclectic stuff, man. It's like, you know, the way that I look at it is, it's just like, the press is going to call it what they're going to call it. But like, what I see is I saw a big need within country music to do something more genuine and authentic. Yeah. And tied to the roots of the great country music, which I feel like this about a lot of modern music, all those genre classifications of like rock music, hip hop, alternative, country, electronic. It's like, there's a whole lot of it out there that maybe isn't exactly, you know, got a lot of depth to it. Yes. You know, and there's a lot of room to reinvent that. And usually that's a combination of bringing something from way back in the day forward with you and putting your own thing on it. But I think it's really important when you're getting going to you just got to create what comes naturally. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the business is going to put a label on it. There ain't nothing you can do about that. I mean, there's a reason they call them labels.
Yeah, you're right, man. And, you know, I think the way that you shine through is the fact that you are so authentic to yourself, and you did find that niche. And that's for anyone listening who's an artist themselves. That's like, man, how can I break through? How can I be visible? Well, you got to bring something that's never been done before, and what's never been done is yourself and your unique story and your own unique perspective that people need to see and people need to hear, and then finding that void, being inspired, doing your homework, and then pushing forward. So that's dope, dude. That's mad dope. Let's see. So how did you find music? Like how did you say, okay, music is it for me? You know, you were in the streets, you were running around, you got in trouble. Like, when did music become Charley Crockett?
Well, you know, I'm from the valley down there. I'm from the Rio Grande Valley, and I lived with my mama down there when I was real young, and we always sang together, you know. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. It was just like my mama sang a lot with me, like in the car, in the house, in the kitchen. She always put on records and CDs, riding around in the vehicle and stuff. And so I always sang a lot, and I didn't have any, like, I just never was like self-conscious about it. Yeah. And then in high school, I started, you know, we started rapping a lot in like sports. Yeah. That's really where I got into everything, was like Swisher House was real big. DSR, UGK. That was the first, dude, that was the first time I ever saw like real DIY, like independent artistry. Was like dudes bumping mixtapes and pushing them out of the trunks of cars. Yeah. And like everything, dude, everything was a remix of stuff that was on the radio that they were like slowing down and rapping over. So we used to just sit around and practice, or like in the bus on the way to the game or whatever. And you just pass it around. And I mean, that's where I got good at it, man. And then like I really did. That's where I got good at that. And then my mama put a guitar in my hands when I turned 18 out of a pawn shop, and I was so depressed and was going through so much and didn't know where I wanted to go with my life that I just kind of applied all of that, you know, the hip hop, the freestyle, because see, freestyle is jazz, man. Like what I love about hip hop is jazz and blues. It's like, that's the thing that we have done in America besides the classic forms of country and blues and jazz. That's the new thing that America has created as an original art form, I think, is hip hop, you know? And so it's like, for me, hip hop is what I took with me onto the street. And then in the street, I discovered folk music. And then once I discovered folk music, that's when I found like the storytelling, and I could and learned how to like apply stories to like improvisation. You know, it's even still like that right now, man. It's like sometimes, man, there's just stuff you're going through in your life where like it's just so often there's just a, what is the word I'm looking for? It's just, I always say this, you know how they always say, love your struggle.
Yes.
I believe that instead of loving your struggle, you need to love the struggle your creator gave you. You need to love the strength that your creator gave you to overcome the struggle. And I feel like that's why hip hop is so relevant in America, is because I think it's the most immediate struggle related music that we have in this country.
Absolutely.
As a means for the common man or woman or whatever, however you identify yourself, to like deal with your daily struggle is hip hop music, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when especially like any kind of music when it's genuine.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, there's so many, it's the truth. Like when you hear a lot of hip hop artists that are genuine, and you can tell, like, it's not about, you know, the selling out, but those that are genuine, and you hear it in their tone and you hear it in the lyrics, it's like, man, I am just talking about what I've lived. I'm just talking about the fact that I was in a house with 30 people in it and no heater, you know, within it, or my mom having to, you know, provide for 6, 7 of us, or whatever it is. Like that to me, hip hop is so real, and people relate to it because of that struggle and because of the strength that they've been able to get. There was a
it's folk music, man. It's modern folk music.
Man, that is so true. I love what you said there, and I want to bring it back, is don't love the struggle that you're in, but love the strength that God gave you in order to overcome that struggle.
That's what it is, baby.
Yeah, but it's cultivating those gifts. It's cultivating that inner gifting that no one has, that, man, if you keep sharpening that is what's going to keep elevating you. And that's from one struggle to the next. It's that gifting that's going to be able to break those walls and break those barriers. That's so good. That's on point. Yeah. So, all right. So you're doing that. Where were you? So in San Benito at the time. How did you get the DFW? Like, what was that? Because you were in New York at a time, right? And then you were in California. Was New York first? Was California first? Like, how did you get to the DFW? Because that's where I met you.
Yeah, well, so we was from the Valley, and my mama was single and was struggling, and you know, her and my daddy, they split up kind of right when I was born, and she didn't have an education, and then she proceeded to educate herself after I was born. She got an education. Well, she got I think she did a couple of years of school down in South Texas, and then we moved up to Dallas Fort Worth, and we lived with relatives. So like we lived with aunts and uncles, I think maybe even on both sides of the family, until my mama got on her feet. She got like a secretary job, got us into like a lease on a little house in Irving, Texas, you know, to provide and all that stuff. And then when I got out of high school, like I said, I kind of immediately kind of got into I got into trouble with some stuff I was doing with my brother. And when that kind of all fell out and everybody got in trouble, that's when I started hitchhiking.
Mm.
That's when I got into hitchhiking. And so, and the first place that I went to hitchhike, well, see, I lived in New Orleans off and on. My uncle lived in New Orleans. And since my father wasn't around in my upbringing, my mama would send me to New Orleans to live with my uncle to get that male role model in my life that I was lacking.
Yeah.
And that's where I was experienced initially the street culture in the French Quarter, because my uncle worked at a restaurant right there, old French restaurant. Now it's a Hyatt, but it used to be a restaurant. And so I eventually went back to New Orleans and played on the street. But I hitchhiked to California out of DFW the very first time that I ever got on the highway, and I started walking down the side of the highways, catching rides. That's where I got into like the freight train culture and like working on farms. I learned about like working with animals. I learned about work trade. I learned about communal living, that kind of stuff, and that's kind of where that got going. And then I lived all over America after California. I would play in New Orleans part of the year, travel up through Asheville, North Carolina, play on the street there, get up to New York, play in Central Park, Washington Square, West 4th Street, on the street, down on the subway, on the Metropolitan Avenue stop, 77th Street stop, First Avenue, all that type of stuff. Then I started playing on subway cars. And, it's like New York would be hard or it'd get cold, and in the wintertime, and I'd run back down to the South. And basically I was staying out of Dallas on purpose because I had just, honestly, I was running away from my history, and my background. But something happened. My mama got out of the old neighborhood that we lived in before that I didn't want to go back to. And she moved right over there into East Dallas, like just like 3 miles outside of Deep Ellum. And I probably hadn't been in Texas in probably, 3 or 4 years. But when she told me she got that house over there on the east side of Dallas, I was excited to go see her because I knew that that's where it was on it. I knew that there was something going on there. And so I went and visited her, and I would go and hit the open mics and stuff. And like one night I was out, dude, I met Alexis Sanchez that's been into my band ever since.
Yeah.
And Alexis is the one that introduced me to LB, dude, at Club Dada, man, before they remodeled it,
Yeah.
And it was very quickly I realized that there was a renaissance going on in Deep Ellum, and really Dallas, Fort Worth, because Fort Worth had the same thing going on, man. Young people were playing in all the bars. Everybody go to the Boiled Owl, the Grotto, Magnolia, all that thing, man. It was popping, and it was like
Live Oak.
Man, it was like a fever pitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Live Oak, man. Man. We used to just hang around, man. It was, man. I will never forget those days, man. There was that was a thing that was happening, bro.
There was a hibernation that was going on.
I met you in that backyard right across the street.
I was just talking about that. So that backyard, so it was on Magnolia. That was Leon's birthday party.
Yep.
So it was Leon's birthday party, and you played, and I was like, yo, that dude is mad talented. And then I played, and I was like, and then you came, and you're like, yo, I loved your music. And it was just like this mutual respect, but like something was brewing within the city that no one really understood what was going on. It was really, really unique. And you can see the testament of that time, going on right now. But man, there's something you said that you kind of glossed over that I want to get to. You said you were running from your past, which, I know that you talk about your past, and your past has an influence on you and how you carry yourself. And there's so much wisdom, even just talking about this, even when we're on the touring together, like you talked about your past a lot. And I feel like there was so much wisdom within that. And there may be people watching right now and they're running from their past. And I want to kind of make that correlation with them. Like, why were you running from your past? And do you regret doing that now?
No, man. The reason that I don't is like, and a lot of people have said this in different ways, but it was Bob Marley that really resonated with me more than anyone.
Yeah.
Who said, if you're not living good, travel wide. And I found that to be the answer for me, man, because things for me just got really messed up, man. You know, my family wasn't doing good, man. My brother was in a lot of trouble. My sister was in a lot of trouble. You know, she passed away from her ailments.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I've got a uniquely difficult situation, because, like, I mean, as you know, man, like, traveling around this country, people are going through it, man, and people are coming out of extraordinary circumstances all the time. And I talk about it in all my music, man. The theme of my music in general is that whole, like, I talk about it in my title track off my last album, The Valley, or like my last studio album, where it's like, you know, darkness did surround me, trouble everywhere I turned.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, literally, man, I just walked away. Dallas Fort Worth became such a dark place for me at a certain time that I just had to walk out there and see America. And I did it on foot, man. I did it with a guitar case, you know, and it worked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's necessarily that easy, man. I know people got responsibilities. I know people got to pay bills. I know people got kids. They got family they got to take care of. So I'll tell you something even my brother said, man. And I mean, my brother sat in prison for 7 years. And I know he certainly learned something from that. But he used to tell me this all the time. Another thing that he would say is, he would say, man, if you don't take care of the things that are wrong and that are not right inside you, every place you go will be the same. And so you don't have to necessarily go out there and run across America. I suggest that if you're young and you're not tied down, I think you should take that chance.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you should definitely find a way to dedicate time to what you truly are interested in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just, man, it just heals, you know. And like, music for me is how I kept myself from addiction, you know, from criminal activity, from being able to get away from a lot of toxic people, you know. Maybe sometimes I still have trouble with that, you know, because I can be kind of loyal to a fault.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm an open person, you know. But anyways, man, I don't mean to preach, but boy, I sure do love playing music.
Oh man, that's dude. And this was my next question too. Has music been worth it all? Has music been worth it to you? You know, with you know, it can be, it's energy, and energy can be light and energy can be dark. You know, at times we're on the road and it's this solitude and it's heartbreak, but at the same time it's beauty, and has the good overweighed the bad.
I mean, not to sound brash, but hey, big dog.
Yes, sir.
Are the Kennedys gun shy?
Yeah.
Yes,
No.
it's been worth it, baby.
My man.
It's been worth it.
My man, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, you know, and it's crazy. And I asked that, and I know it's maybe a ludicrous question, but some people out there are asking themselves, is you've been through a lot. There's been that journey, you know, and saying only if you persevere, like you did, there was a push, there was this perseverance. So like, is it worth it? Is that, you know, you're still on your journey. Is the long run, like, is it worth the struggle that I'm going through right now? And so that's the only thing that I'm trying to put a parallel. Well, it's like,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, hell yes, it's worth it. Yes, push through the pain. Me traveling, you know, countless of states and putting miles on my feet. It's worth the fact that I get to be in front of 20 people right now sharing my heart. It's worth being in front of 30 people and sharing my heart. And your season, there's something about your tone, and it's not even, you know, there's something about your tone, something about the wisdom, the way you present yourself, that's completely different than a lot of cats out there. And it's because of the miles that you have. It's because of what you've gone through. It's because of the journey, in a sense. It's, you know, there's a great analogy that I heard, and it was like, how do you bake a cake? You know, like, if you just use flour to bake a cake, it's going to be disgusting. If you just use eggs to bake a cake, it's going to be gross. But you need the flour, you need the eggs, you need the sugar. Like, all these different ingredients.
Gotta have the right temperature. You gotta bake it for the right amount of time.
Exactly. And so, but if you do one ingredient without the other, or you try to rush it, it's not going to be good. And so for you, I would say that you have that cake, and it's great, man. Or, you know, if you try to put sugar in your mouth, you just, that one thing, and you try to put it in your mouth, it's not going to be good. If you try to put flour in your mouth, it's not going to be good. But it's getting all those ingredients, it's getting all those experiences that you've been through, and you're putting it together and you're going. But that can only happen if you push through. And the end result is the fact that, yes, music is absolutely worth everything.
Yeah, man, it is. You know, like everybody comes at it a different way. Like if you look at the music business, like of entertainment, or just entertainers in general, whether it's actors, models, singers, dancers, whoever it is, no two artists' path to like a public audience ever looks the same. It's never, there's no two paths are alike. But, and like for me, I've never been able to break in to any part of this business. It's never worked for me the way that they tell you that it does. Like in New York City, for example, I wanted to play at those clubs that they tell you that you got to play at. I wanted to get a gig at Rockwood Music Hall. I was trying to play at Arlene's Grocery. I was trying to play at Pianos. I was trying to, but I couldn't get in that door. The doors weren't open to me. What was open to me was playing on the subway. You know what I mean? And because the great thing about the subway is I was able to spend time developing and do it in my own pace.
Yeah.
And then when I started playing in those subway cars, which was through hip hop, you see, I was playing by myself on the platform with my guitar, and I was singing soul and R&B and folk and just kind of, you know, everything I was picking up on the street. But it was a young rapper named Jadon that had already been rapping, freestyling the train cars with another dude that was playing guitar that convinced me to start rapping in the train cars.
Wow.
Once we started doing that in the train cars, man, that's when I started making more money. That's when I got better. It's like I was getting better every day, but once I started playing in subway cars, man, my ability it multiplied. And I lost any fear, man, because it's like if you could step in a subway car, you know, and perform, like you ain't gonna have no fear stepping on a stage.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing that happened was, man, is I signed a record deal with people from Sony on the R train, never having played on a real stage in New York City besides an open mic. Now, that didn't work out for me. But what it taught me that I'm applying all these years, that was 2012 when I signed that contract.
Wow.
This is 2020. And what that taught me all these years later was that you don't necessarily need somebody else to tell you how to do it. You know how to do it, and you got to keep going. You need help. You can't do it alone. Yeah. But like, you have to have your own vision. And here's the other thing. This is the last thing I say about this. You got to figure out, this is just me personally. I had to decide what part of Charley Crockett I was willing to sell. Because if you don't figure out what you're willing to sell, somebody else is going to decide what to sell. What to sell. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with producers and shit. It's like, if you don't know what you want in the studio, what happens when you change producers? Yeah. Yeah. You know, they're just, you know, I'm just that type of cat. You know what they call me? They call me the Muhammad Ali of country music, man. I'm a fighter, boy. I fight. You know? Look out. Hey. Flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. What's up? Yeah. It's quick. Look, you can't even see that.
Man, you're on point, man. Like, one of my favorite quotes is the fact that it takes a village. You can't do it by yourself, but also that there isn't a formula. There is no formula for this game. Like, people are saying, oh, this is how you do it. This is like, you can take people's stories and be inspired by them and try to apply that to your life. But honestly, there is no formula to this. It's trusting yourself and trusting that in that gift, there's a verse that says your gifts will make room for you.
Mm.
And it's cultivating those gifts, man, and it's cultivating the journey, and cultivating those ideas within you, and step out of fear. Like don't be afraid to go on those trains. Like people say, man, I don't have the confidence to go on this art train and perform. If you don't have that confidence to perform in a train, why do you think you're going to have the confidence to perform in front of 5,000 people?
Yep.
If you're not able to, there's, LB said, man, I didn't care if there was 5 people, if there's 3,000 people in a room.
Mm.
It's like I was going to perform for them to the best that I can. And to me, that resonates. And that is true artistry. And that is how you cut yourself above the rest.
Yep.
Is that. Mm. James, man, this is a great comment. We got a little bit. Let's see. Do you still doubt yourself now? Or are there times you go through where you're doubting yourself?
Oh man, I mean, I wouldn't be a human being if I didn't doubt myself. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gone through a serious amount of doubt in this like, stay at home pandemic, like.
Yeah. Mm.
I really have, man. It makes you rethink everything, I mean, I'm used to playing 200 shows a year. This spring was my biggest spring ever, I was doing Red Rocks, 3 festivals with Willie Nelson, my biggest shows headlining, just kind of everything, and
Yeah.
and that's, so that was really hard, man. I've doubted myself a whole lot, and even like rolling out this new record, that's been really hard. Like it's called Welcome to Hard Times, and I know for a fact it's my best record. Maybe I would put money on it being maybe 5 times better than anything else I recorded before.
Wow.
And what's difficult about that though is like feeling how difficult it is to mobilize my vision, to get the team around me to see my vision and see it through, man. And that's hard at every level. I think it gets harder the higher up there that you get, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Chappelle had said that, when he like broke the bank and became the biggest comedian in the world. Remember, he famously said, he was like, man, I showed that I was a hit selling artist that broke the bank, and he was the highest grossing comedian in the world. And he was like, surely I've proven to them that now they're going to let me run this show and I can do whatever I want. And that's not what happened, man. They clamped down control on him. And that's why he disappeared for so long, and he had to come back. And so, that's, I feel like the higher you climb up there, the more difficulty there is. And like, I'm always going through a cycle of doubt and confidence. But like, as like Nas famously said this in a song years ago. He said, as I grow yearly, I see things more clearly. That's why they fear me. But that's how I feel. I'm 36 now, man. And like, I was 26 or 27 when I signed that first deal. And like, I'm about a decade later, and it's like, I know so much more where I want to go. I have so much clearer of an artistic vision. I think I sing a lot better than I did when I was younger, and so, I mean, I doubt myself all the time, man. But like, it's like, life is valleys and mountains, man. Valleys and mountains.
Absolutely. Well, just to give you a little courage, my friend, is the fact that you're here and you've come this far, and there's nothing that's going to stop you. And you've done such a phenomenal job. And I say all that fear you've got about the record, just throw that shit out the window. And I can't wait to hear it. And I know it's like you saying it's 5 times better than anything you've ever done. Just like, I'm flabbergasted, because you've done nothing but like crazy dope shit. Like
Glad you think so.
Yeah,
man. But I appreciate you saying that, man. But I'm excited to see what you're gonna do, man. Because I mean, honestly, dude, I've seen the support that you've garnered. And you haven't put out but just a little bit, man. And like,
man, I'm excited.
You breaking through, big dog.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I'm excited, man. And I would say it's been a blessing, to say the least. And I'm humbled by the fact that that people are able to to really believe in the vision and jump on the journey just off what I've released so far. And like this, you know, we're talking about the blessings about, or just what we've been able to do with this pandemic is the fact that now I can sit down and cast the vision for this and cast the vision for what I want to see next, and it be clear. And I really cannot wait for what's next, man. I am so hyped. This new songs that I've been doing, and you've heard joints that I had before this pandemic that I've been showing you while we're on tour.
Oh, nothing but heat.
Yeah, just to be able to release that. So I'm super hyped, man. We got a little bit. I got 2 more questions for you. One is for those listening right now. How can you say, hey, this is a call to action or a little encouragement to get yourself from point C to point D, you know, get from 2 to 3 and not so much from 1 to 10, but this is some game that I can give you to do right now that you can help yourself kind of give yourself a foot forward.
You asking me that?
Yeah.
I can only speak my own path, you know.
Yeah.
But when I was living on the street in Paris, France, I had been living in New York, and I used to play at this open mic on the Lower East Side, right over there, off of Orchard, if you know where that is on the Lower East Side. There's an old Irish bar, and they had in the basement they would do a thing that this boy named Sasha Chavez ran for about 7 years, and I played there all the time, and there was this Danish jazz singer that would come over from Europe like once every few months, and he would come hang out at the open mic. And I was real rough around the edges, but I guess he saw potential in me, and he really liked me. And after knowing him about a year, man, he brought me over to Denmark with him to Copenhagen, where he lived, and he let me stay in his apartment, and he got me gigs around the city of Copenhagen. I played there for about 6 weeks till I wore out my welcome. And then, being real crazy, I'd always dreamed of going to Paris, France. It's my mama's favorite city. I've got my Louisiana heritage and stuff. I felt connected to it. And so I bought a bus ticket and went down there, and that was the only money I had was to get on a bus ticket and go down there. And as soon as I got to France and they dropped this off in Paris, I realized I couldn't speak French. You know, parlez-vous français? No.
No.
You know, not.
Oui, oui?
No. Wait, nah.
No.
Beaucoup trouble, baby. It's beaucoup trouble. And I got nervous, but it forced me to live on the street for real, where I really started I was living hard in New York, but I usually found a way to sleep on somebody's floor. I could sleep on a park bench that was lit well, or stay up through the night, or hang out on the subways till the sun came up and pass out in the park in the daytime and stuff. But in Paris, I didn't know anybody. And it was really hard. I remember sleeping under staircases, laying on park benches in weird parts of Paris, you know, really afraid because I didn't know anyone. But I would be scared, and then that sun would come up in the morning, and I'd be like, man, you know, last night was really scary and I didn't get no sleep, but man, the sun still comes up in the morning. And the long-winded thing I'm telling you is I know there's a lot of talented people that know they have something special. And it's that fear of of whether you can break through or not. And all I'm saying is you know, the sun is going to come up in the morning, even if you having to rely on the kindness of strangers to get by. And strangers are there, and they will help you if your path is meant to be, man. People just help out, man. I've been helped by nothing but strangers this whole way. People, poor folks with nothing to give, giving everything they got, you know, all the way here.
That's beautiful, bro. That is absolutely beautiful. And you know, again, it's the fact of just having that awareness of, hey, it takes a village, and your path is going to lead to those that believe in you, and is, if you believe in yourself, those people are going to be drawn to you. You know, it's that law of attraction of dude, believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, believe in your vision, and the right people will come to you.
They used to say that, you know, I'm a huge Jimi Hendrix fan.
Yeah.
always loved Jimi Hendrix. I don't know who doesn't, but I've read a lot of his biographies, and what the people who do him really well kind of all had it said in common about him in different ways was that Jimmy he believed in himself. Like everybody would say the same thing. They would just be like, Jimi Hendrix believed in himself so much that once you got to know him, you had no doubt that he was going to break through because he was just he just believed so much that he had something to give. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
It just, I mean, not everybody can be Jimi Hendrix, man. And like, not everybody can break through and be an international artist or whatever, man. But it's like, you can record great music or make great paintings, even if you got a full-time job, man.
Absolutely.
You know?
And it does, again, it's, setting that vision for yourself. And like, I think if I can go to a place and play in front of 30 people and 30 people actually love what I'm doing and love my music, like that's success to me. And so it's just setting that. But last thing, what is the best advice that you've ever received?
Man, I'm going to tell you this. It's funny you say that. Usually I don't know, but I happen to have a good answer. Who is that? Is that,
you know what I'm saying?
Is it LB?
Hold on.
Hey, that's how,
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Has he been in there the whole time?
Yeah, man. He's in here.
What's up, LB?
Chilling. How you doing?
I'm good, man. You look good. Where'd you get that gator teeth, man? Where'd you get that gator teeth?
I'm peeping game over here in the corner, man. So
yeah, he's been listening.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff.
Man, it's funny you say that, man. Man, what's up, Bill? I mean, honestly, that dude standing right there behind you giving me amazing advice over and over and over. I mean, a whole step of the way and that's a huge thing for me. But I remember I was living on farms in Northern California. I had felt defeated. I got in trouble with my brother. The Sony thing didn't work out because they was trying to force me to be something that I just couldn't be.
Yeah.
I was so depressed. I didn't think I could get back into the business. And there was this old boy that used to work for Elektra Records back in the days of like the Doors and all that rock and roll scene in Southern California in the 60s. And I remember he told me, he said, Charley Crockett, anytime you get down on yourself and feel like you're just going to plug back into regular society, he said, just remember this thing. You can always do what they do, but they can't do what you do, and never forget that. And,
wow. Wow.
And I don't mean to sound arrogant. It's just, it means if you got a gift, man, you just can't let it die. From the gifted, much is expected.
Amen.
That's cool. Man, Charley, I love you, brother. Thank you so much. This is Texas Troubadours right here, man.
Yeah.
Man, what's up?
What's
up?
We got to get back on stage.
Hey.
Baby,
What's good?
Come on.
Hi, my dog. Good to see you, brother.
Man, I love y'all. Appreciate the combo, Abraham.
Hey, absolutely, man. It's been an honor, and man, I can't wait to hear the project and just to see you again, man. Thank you so much for your advice, and I know that I can call you whenever I need to, and I've done it before just to get your advice and for you to just answer on the get-go, man. That means so much to me.
Hey, man, just don't forget me when you're in the arena, bro. Don't forget me.
No, man, we're going to be in there together, bro.
That sounds good.
Yeah, on God. We're going to be in there together,
On guard, he said. Is that French? No, I don't know.
Yeah. No, he said on God. On God. He said on God.
Sacre bleu. Sacre bleu.
Yeah, man. Hey, bro, I love you, man. Thank you
Love
so
y'all
much.
too.
This has
Funky
been such
Town.
an amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Funky Town. Someone say hi, Taylor. There you go. There you go. Hello, man. I love you, bro. Take it easy, and I'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Thanks again.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Peace.
Bye.